Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I got 5 tips for working in harsh light. Harsh light is just hard light or direct sun. Beginners tend to avoid this light source because it's not that easy to work with. I know I did at the beginning, but then eventually I started booking clients, and sometimes they would book me on a full day shoot where I had to work in all the hours of the day, or their schedule was so tight that they only had the unfavorable hours available. And I don't know about you, but I want to make money and I want to work, so I learned how to shoot in direct light. So let's jump in with tip number 1, and this is just picking poses that complement the angle of the sun. So you have a light source that's in a fixed position. If you're in a studio, you can move your light anywhere around. With the sun, it's just in one spot. So if you're at high noon, which is probably the least favorable of lights because it's directly above head, especially in the summer. In the winter, it gets to be at different angles, but we'll get into that in a minute. So adjust your model or subject so that the shadows are flattering, so they're not long shadows down there under their nose, or you see shadows on their eyes. So using poses that complement the angle. Here's a shot that I did at 12:30 in the summer. It was a swimsuit shoot, so it made sense to have her lay on the ground and put her chin up like she's enjoying the sun. So depending on what it is that you are shooting, some things will make more sense than others. So just plan out your shoot based on the angle of the sun. And then that brings us into the next tip, which is download a sun tracking app. So throughout the day, the sun changes angles. The more prepared you are, the easier it is to plan for the certain types of shots that you can get. So I use Sun Tracker AR, and you can just hold your camera, your phone up to the scene and then rotate and see where the sun will be at what time during the day and what angle it will be at. If I just use the free version, the premium version does allow you to check specific dates where the sun's going to be. During the winter months, I know the sun is at 45 degrees at noon. So that's a pretty low angle and definitely usable. Luckily for me, I live and work in Southern California, so I love booking all-day shoots in the winter because I can get a pretty consistent look throughout the whole day. Moving on to tip number 3, this is a mistake that I made early on, and it's expose for your highlights. So everybody's skin tone is different. There's lighter skinned people, there's darker skinned people. Also, clothing that they're wearing is lighter or darker. So whatever the brightest part of your subject, expose for that. The mistake that I made, I overexposed. I had a woman with really fair skin, and I overexposed one entire look. I was so bummed because the shots were all unusable. If you shoot a little bit underexposed and then bring up your exposure in post, I think that's the way to go. But don't make the same mistake that I did. So that brings us to tip number 4, and this you'll probably encounter near the end of the day or when the sun's at a lower angle, but watch your shadows. So you can see here, I wasn't paying attention and my shadow is on my subject's body. Luckily, it isn't a good shot. I didn't have any other frames to show you except for this one, so obviously I noticed. And then here's an example of me just moving over to the side, shooting from a side angle and low so that my shadow doesn't get into the shot. Just something to be aware of. I hate to see you shoot a bunch of frames and have all your shadows in, and then, you have to either Photoshop them out or not use the photos. And that brings us to the last tip, and this is look for natural bounces. On this shoot, we were in a parking structure and we needed to get some portraits or some headshots where her eyes were completely open, not squinting because being in the sun. So I found a pillar that was light gray. I had her stand in front of it. I had the sun on her back, and then I just used the pillar as a bounce. Try to find bounces that are above your subject's face, so that way you have nice even light coming in from above, not really have any underlighting. Those are my 5 tips. I hope they inspire you to get out there and try shooting in unfavorable lighting conditions and make them favorable for you. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos on photography, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video.